Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this morning. Got a great show lined up. You know, I never say we got a bad show lined up. We always got a great show lined up. We're going to do the best we can to bring you some really good information. Hope you enjoy it. Some really good stories and all. And I've got some today. All right, let's look at the weather. The weather, look, a high today, 91, low 76. Water temperature dropped 1 degree to 83, but it's in that summer pattern. It's going to stay up. It's going to get a little bit warmer in another week or two. Our river reading brought to us by Mountain Dew. Get out and do. We're looking at the Apalachicola at Bluntstown, right pretty level at a 5.5. It's been steady. I've seen some pictures of some really good catches of brim coming out of the Apalachicola River system, the upper end and the lower end. The Choctawhatchee at Caryville, 3.5. And it's right. The Choctawhatchee is right. I've talked to some folks over there, and they're doing well over there. Both river systems in great shape, and all the tributaries are. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent and Forest Lawn, looking at good strong tides. We talked about this yesterday. Just great tides. Highs at 10:11 this morning, and low at 9:08 tonight. So really good situation with our tides. Our marine forecast to be pretty strong coming out of the south-southeast, which is a normal pattern for the summertime, at about 10 to 15. So be aware of that if you're doing any kind of fishing on any open bodies of water. All right, let's take our break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. We're going to look at some pictures that are just fascinating. I don't think I'll be able to do a show without these fascinating pictures I'm always showing. Because it really it keeps us just, up with what's going on throughout the outdoors, mainly local, but also we get some others too when I'm a member of some of these different Facebook pages, and I get a kick out of them, which leads us into our first picture. And we haven't had one in a good while from our do-it-yourself deer blinds. So check this one out. That is you see that's a camper truck top right there sitting on top of a box. Now isn't that a brilliant idea? I've never seen one like this. You got all your windows around it. You can make it so you can stand up. I don't know if you stand up or sitting down. The only drawback I see, you're gonna stand up or sit down. So anyway, that sort of gets you in the mood to start getting these deer blinds ready. All right, the next one, here it is. This girl and her husband do a lot of fishing. Christy Cockamus and her husband Jeremy, they saw this one tailing. She jumped off the boat to go get them and hook up over a 26-inch on the first cast. So they found them over there, and good job, Christy. Next, this is a definition of the word is called tagret, okay? It rhymes with regret. That's a feeling that comes over anglers who catch a tagged redfish but aren't registered in the star tournament. It's a feeling of sadness, of repentance, or disappointment over something that could have happened. Self-accusation, self-reproach, mourning. So fish with no tagrets. Register for Star today. So if you haven't registered for the Star Redfish Tournament or the tag tournament, they got all kinds of tag things too. So that's tagret. I thought that was cute. My buddy Alex Jennings. This is a rattlesnake. We can't be sure this one. I think they had one that hit their dog. They got their dog, but that's one less. That's Sarah Jennings and Alex Jennings, and that is a healthy rattlesnake. That is a big rattlesnake. Okay, what about my buddy Billy Brown? We'll go fishing with him in Venice. Haven't been able to go last year or two, but the Venice trip with the Brown brothers, Billy Brown, he's a Winston, and my brother Ricky caught this one today. 26.8 pounds, 31 inches long. Folks, that is a huge red snapper. Congratulations, Ricky. And look at the water, how the water's calmed down now in the last week or two compared to what it was. It's just been some really good fishing. Okay, and Rick is also putting together a pond. He put together a fishing pond. I don't know if I kept his. I don't think I kept it. Anyway, he was saying that his pond has a lot of. Okay, let me read it to you. I was asking about his pond. He built a pond up there in South Alabama. I asked about it. So here listen to this, because a lot of people are doing ponds. I put the bass in the last week of May, so he got his bass stocked in there. He'd already stocked his brim. I already have copper nose brim 8 inches long. Okay. Also, I've never seen brim spawn like they have this year. They don't seem to care about the moon phase, since I can catch them on the bed full of eggs nearly any day of the month. This is interesting now. And the biologists I'm working with, and Billy's working with a biologist, and these, they're trained in this. And the biologist I'm working with is seeing the same thing all over the South. And this is interesting as far as, they're having eggs all the time now. So we may get with some, once things settle down, get with some marine biologists and see what's going on there. All right, let's move on to, this was an announcement. I think this might be a coming thing, okay? All Almirada public parks, public beaches, and public boat ramps will be closed to the public from July 24th to August the 19th. I don't know how they got the 19th date, but that's interesting right there. They're closing the boat ramps. I could see the beaches and all, but wow, when they're closing the boat ramps, then that might be something coming our way. Boy, I tell you what, y'all, Michael and Mark Coward, they've been on the show, part of our Panhandle Outdoors team, and they're fishing the Redfish World Series out in Louisiana. And they were in the top 20 the first day. The second day, 20 minutes into day 2 of the Redfish World Series, look what happened. They lost their prop. Don't you know that is just so discouraging and disheartening to put all that time and effort and all that. I said, everybody just said, ouch, and doggone and all. They responded to them. I don't know the results of it, how long it took to get fixed and all, but man, time is of the essence. And when you lose your prop out there in the water, man. And here's the thing about it. Those guys, that's that father and son team. Now, y'all know Mark and Michael. They prepare. They were well prepared. This just, I don't know if they hit something or what, but this just don't, this don't come from not being prepared. Okay, so I know they were prepared. A lot of people asking about these black balls for the yellow flies, if they work or not. This is from Brad Richardson, and they do work, obviously. Look at all of them on that ball there. All right. Here it is right here. I got 2 pictures. This is my good friend Andy Weeks. We lost Andy last year. Andy and I fished together a lot, and his wife Joyce wanted to do a memorial reef. Here's a little closer shot. And this past week, they finally got the memorial reef for MBARA. They finished it up in Mobile. They bring them down, and this past week, in fact, it was last Friday, and I'm sorry I couldn't go, but Joyce sent me some pictures. This is in honor and memory of our late friend, her late husband, and a great fisherman, just a great guy. This is Andy Weeks, and he couldn't be more happy. I guarantee you, if he knew about this, he couldn't be more happy to have that reef put down there around Mexico Beach. Well, he loved to fish. So thank you, Joyce, and family and friends for taking care of that. I'm always bragging about my former outdoor ed students. This ain't a good one. This is a Dallas Cobb. Folks, look at that hook in his thumb. That is awesome. Look at that. That's awful. That went all the way through. All the blood on it. This was not part of our curriculum, putting hooks in his thumb like this. So Dallas, he's a pretty strong fella, and I'm sure he got through this okay. But in a situation like this, what you want to do is just clip the barb off and just bring it back through. I don't know how that happened, but I know that hurt. And probably, once he started, he might have just rammed it all the way through once he started. I don't know, but man, Dallas Cobb. All right, Dallas. A couple more pictures too. You're talking about fishing without a boat. This is Marquita Reed, her 2 boys, Cuba and Mel. Cuba has been on the show before. Marquita teaches PE at Bay Haven. Been there a long time, and just a great family there. Loves outdoors. Look at the redfish from the jetties. They're not in a boat or anything. Look at them. There's Cuba there. You see right there on the jetties. They're catching some nice. Here's another one. Some nice redfish. So thank you, Marquita, for posting this. All right, last picture I want to show. This is a picture right here that really spooky to me, because Jimmy Lumley, Jimmy went ahead and posted it. First, I thought he was cooking something, but up close, you can see this is, well, we're going to call it electronics. We're going to zoom in on it. This is a few people scalloping in St. Mark's this weekend. Now, St. Mark's, you can scallop, the season's over, it's open over there. At first, I thought these were a bunch of boats around him. All these red dots you see on the screen, these are people scalloping. Is that phenomenal? Now, I'm afraid it's going to be that way in a couple of weeks in St. Joe Bay. So, if you will, Jimmy, shoot us a picture of that in St. Joe. But these scalloping, it was, of course, a beautiful weekend, and this is what's going on. So that was over there in St. Mark's. Jimmy Lumley on his electronics here. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. We're, we're in a situation. We're still in Studio B, and our studio is still closed. Fox 28 studio is still closed, and we're in uncharted times, uncharted waters, and it's just a situation where we're just going to have to roll with it. All along, back when all this started, I thought, to me, July 4th, I thought everything would be fine after July 4th, and we'd be getting back in the studio, we'd be getting back in our churches and having some functions together. But as you know, we're not near there. So we're just doing the best we can, and I appreciate all of the support we've gotten, and it's just what it does to our show. It puts us in a situation where I don't want to do a show every morning just talking all the time. I know y'all enjoy them and all, so we try to mix up videos, but I'm at a point where I don't like to get around a crowd of people videoing. I don't feel comfortable doing that. And then on our guest, right now, at this point in time of this COVID virus, I don't feel comfortable with guests right next to us without masks and all. I know I'm being overcautious, over careful, but that's just the way I am. And I don't have a problem wearing masks. But Gail and I just haven't been getting out. We just hadn't been going anywhere. I missed a funeral. I missed some funerals I would always go to, and it breaks my heart I couldn't go to them. But I just wait around. So bear with us as we do these things, and we're in hard times, and we're going to do the best we can. But I'm going to be showing this. I've got a vault full. We're wealthy as far as our past videos we've done, and every time I show one, people will say, "I've never seen that before." And if you've seen it, we've been doing it 16 years. So I'm going to show you some of our reruns, and reruns gets a bad name, but you look all over TV now, and everybody's doing a lot of reruns. So we'll be showing you some of those too, and try to mix it up as much as we can. I'm going to keep you posted of what's going on too. But anyway, this past weekend, I didn't go out on a boat. I don't go out on Saturdays. I saw the most boats I have ever seen at the Lynn Haven boat ramp. Now, that's my barometer of people out on the water this past Saturday. Now, I'll tell you about Memorial Day, everybody out, and then I'll tell you about July 4th, everybody out. And I can see how people are parking and where they're parking. And I saw something Saturday afternoon after lunch at the Lynn Haven boat ramp I've never seen. They filled up all the areas. They're up here on Highway 77 parking beside the road. Not on 77, but that little vacant lot on 77. There were 6 boat trailers there. So that tells you that it broke the all-time record for the Lynn Haven boat ramp, so that's reflected throughout the Panhandle, freshwater and saltwater. So I was interested to see what was going on weather-wise, and I looked at my radar, and I saw a storm coming up after lunch and coming from east to west, and it was one of those storms that started building. I know y'all were out there, and I saw on Facebook where some people almost they tried to beat it in and all that. My son Chip and his family were out, so I texted him. I said, this storm is coming from east to west. And because, most of the time these summer storms is coming up out of the south or the southwest, up in that direction there. And the storms that we see inland from the coast, if we look inland, we see those storms out there, and I've always looked at them from St. Joe Bay while I was scalloping. Those always sort of get held up. They don't usually move that way. Sometimes they do. So this one was doing that. And I was really, I always worry about people getting caught out there in the boats, and I don't worry about them. I just want them to be safe and all. And so I texted him. He and his family got in right before that storm. That was a heavy storm. It didn't last long, but it had a lot of red in it, a lot of lightning all over the place. And it made me think about that lightning. I was looking here. I found this story here. This is how I save everything. This is the Star, the St. Joe Star. They put the story here, August the 1st, 1991 was that lightning strike. We were not scalloping that day. We had some close friends that knew this couple, that were good friends with this couple, and the lightning hit. I'm not going to read you the whole article, but I do want to read you some of this because it's really sad. Edward Mobley, age 67, of Lake Wales, had just retired a few days prior to last Saturday and purchased a new boat 2 days before. He was intent on getting down to the business of enjoying retirement. They came up here camping out at St. Joe State Park. His retirement was abruptly interrupted Saturday about 12:30, okay, right there in the middle of the day, when a bolt of lightning ripped out of the clouds of the heavy thunderstorms on St. Joe Bay and killed Mobley instantly. The lightning bolt was accompanied by many other jolts and rolling thunder and a driving rain, which rolled in about noon, which was similar. That's the storm reminded me of that when it came in, because it just came rolling in right there in the middle of the day. Mobley's wife, Daisy, was knocked unconscious by the same bolt. The two were scalloping in the bay and about 1,500 feet from the shore of the peninsula. Mrs. Mobley remained unconscious for approximately 45 minutes, according to Gulf County Sheriff's Office, and then they went on to say as she began to regain consciousness, Robert Myers came by the boat and saw her feebly waving, but she couldn't talk. She was just waving for help. Of course, then he called 911 and he towed the boat to the dock about 700 feet away. And Mobley had fallen when he was hit. He was falling over into the bay waters, and then they started searching for him. And 2 hours later, his body surfaced, and he was spotted about 1,500 feet from the dock. So it was pretty close to where it was. She was hospitalized, and she was released shortly. And his body, on the autopsy, he had 2 burns on his body, one on the head and the other on his right foot, where the lightning entered and exited. So it struck him directly and knocked her back. So that, we talk about lightning. I'm always really over cautious and talk about it. And it doesn't happen very often, but it does happen, and it'll happen on St. Joe Bay and St. Andrews Bay and Lake Seminole. So be aware of that. I'm sure they were not aware it's going to come up that quick. And when I saw that radar Saturday, that sort of reminded me of that. That's why I looked up this article. I wanted to share this with you. And a couple that they were best friends with, camping next to, best friends with, were people we know, the Wood family out of Quincy. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you, okay? We're going to come back after the break with better news. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at our fishing game time today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. We're looking at 1:21 a.m. to 3:21. We passed that one. But afternoon, 1:49 to 3:49. And I was curious, I was seeing the pictures, all these red snapper, huge red snappers, like one I just showed, 27 and 29 pounds, which is huge. So I said, wait a minute, what is the world record on snapper? And I looked it up just for our information. It is 50 pounds and 4 ounces. And guess where it was caught? Louisiana, out of Bell Pass, which is on the way down to Venice, down in that area. So it didn't say when it was caught, but it's 50 pounds and 4 ounces. So I just thought that's huge. And the Florida record now is 46 pounds, caught out of where? Destin, okay? And we'll talk about that more later, but that's huge, huge. I don't know if they got that mounted anywhere or not. I had this on the other day, and Ben Steele called me. Remember I had this float on, and I was talking about how important it is to mark your place, especially if you're going out another 400 or 500 yards coming back to it. And a lot of y'all have used these and still use them, because one thing, it will show you, here's a fin here and here's a mark. That shows you the current of the water, and that's always a big deal if you're dropping down. So you want to drop on this side. If you're flowing that way, you want to drop here, and because those lines really go like that. So there are all kind of neat things. And Ben said, Coach, I want to tell you about it. He would go out with some buddies and all, and what they did down here at the bottom, he said every trip they went out, they attached a line with a hook on it, or they just tied. He said every time they caught fish, and he said most of the time it was a scamp. Is that not cool? So that's another fishing tip brought to us by one of the viewers. And we had talked about doing that, but we just never had time to fool with it, you know. so I think our next trip, which we don't know when it's going to be, it may be, it won't be anytime soon. It might be another month or so before we can get out. But as far as just, you know, getting out and doing stuff like this, we're going to attach a hook to it next time. So thank you, Ben. And what they did, again, they use on something like that, you want live bait. All the commercial guys, everybody uses live bait on stuff like that and all. So now let me mention, I talked to Ken Paramore the other day, and I was asking about, you know, were they planning on having a banquet? He said no. He said the National Wild Turkey Federation has called off all banquets. He said, in fact, we're in dire straits. The NWTF, folks, the big banquet, big convention they have every year up in February up in Nashville. We'll talk about it. I've had witness shoot some video over it. I've never been, but anybody I've ever talked to have loved going to that, and it was just packed out. He said that might even be canceled. He said the staff, the organization has laid off 51 employees from the NWTF. And man, you hate to see that, man. What a great organization and what good things they do. They preserve and protect the turkey. They preserve the habitat. They put so much money into the habitat of all areas throughout the country. And it's such a good place. So they're trying to have some like online auctions or online raffles or whatever, you know, whatever we can do to support them. And I'm sure, I haven't checked with the Ducks Unlimited people, but I'm sure they're in the same situation. It's just a part of the times we're going through. But man, I had no idea the NWTF was in that bad of a shape. So in fact, I went online right before I came on the show just to see about what's going on, because it's February, and at the Gaylord Opryland Hotel, and they had a little strip across there. It's been postponed until further notice, and they may have it later on in the year. So that's that's February. Look how long that is from now, and they've already postponed it. So times are hard. We just do all we can to just try to help out and all. Got to wrap it up. Y'all do something good today for your fellow man, and enjoy the great outdoors, and enjoy it with other people. You have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.